You did a really
That's
good job.
insane because we have the same exact toppings on the pizza.
But I just placed mine a lot better.
No, you just did.
Yes, I did.
What started as a simple craving for pizza turned into a whirlwind evening for Caitlin Clark, one of basketball's brightest rising stars. Exhausted from a grueling schedule of practices, games, and media interviews, Caitlin hoped for a quiet night at her favorite local pizzeria. Instead, the visit reminded her of the weight of fame and the importance of staying grounded. After a long day, Caitlin craved nothing more than a slice of her favorite pepperoni pizza. Parking her car discreetly near the pizzeria, she hoped for an uneventful trip, just a moment of normalcy. The aroma of melted cheese and freshly baked dough welcomed her as she entered, her shoulders relaxing for the first time all day. As Caitlin waited for her order, a fan spotted her in line, excitement lighting up their face. They politely approached for a selfie, which she obliged with a soft smile. But this small interaction quickly snowballed. One selfie turned into 2, then 3, and soon, a crowd began to gather. Fans eagerly approached for photos and autographs, their enthusiasm filling the tiny pizzeria. Some shared heartfelt stories of how Caitlin had inspired them or their children, making it impossible for her to slip away unnoticed. Even as Caitlin signed autographs and posed for pictures, the exhaustion began to creep in. All she wanted was her pizza and a moment to herself. Among the crowd was a little girl, nervously holding out a piece of paper for Caitlin to sign. When Caitlin knelt down and asked if she played basketball, the girl beamed, sharing her dream of one day following in Caitlin's footsteps. Touched, Caitlin added an encouraging note alongside her autograph, reminding the young fan to always believe in herself. The interaction reminded Caitlin why she loved the game and the platform it had given her to inspire others. Finally, Caitlin's order number was called. With a polite wave to the remaining fans, she grabbed her pizza and hurried to her car, eager to savor the quiet she'd been yearning for. But the night wasn't over yet. As Caitlin sat in her car, the comforting warmth of the pizza box on her lap, she noticed a man approaching her window. He looked vaguely familiar, a man in his 50s wearing a faded baseball cap and a warm smile. Rolling down her window cautiously, Caitlin greeted him. The man introduced himself as Don, an old friend of her dad's and someone who used to play basketball with him back in the day. Don shared stories of her father's pride in her accomplishments and how he always knew Caitlin would achieve greatness. His words were heartfelt, reminding Caitlin of her roots and the values instilled in her by her family. As Don walked away, Caitlin sat quietly in her car, replaying his words in her mind. It was a grounding moment, a reminder that despite the pressures of fame, her love for basketball and the people who shaped her journey were what truly mattered. She smiled to herself, finally taking a bite of her pizza. The chaos of the night felt worth it as she reflected on how far she'd come and the journey ahead. For Caitlin, moments like these are a double-edged sword. Fame offers incredible opportunities to inspire others, but also comes with challenges, like losing the simple joys of a quiet night out. This experience served as a reminder to stay true to herself and to balance the demands of her career with moments of peace and reflection. In a quiet Chicago neighborhood, a small diner bustled with its usual charm. Unbeknownst to the patrons inside, greatness had just walked in. Caitlin Clark, a rising star of women's basketball, was new in town and had stopped in for a bite. At just 22 years old, Caitlin had already captured the attention of sports fans and casual viewers alike, heralded as the future of the WNBA and potentially one of the greatest women's basketball players of all time. She introduced herself to Jean, the diner's owner, who was taken by the young woman's warm demeanor. Caitlin mentioned she was passing through and felt drawn to the little eatery. Jean, flattered, promised Caitlin the best meal of her life. Caitlin, intrigued, playfully agreed and added that if the food truly amazed her, she would give Jean anything she wanted in return. Jean went to work, deciding to prepare her signature spaghetti. As Caitlin waited, sipping water, 3 young boys approached her hesitantly. Their curiosity had gotten the better of them, and they needed confirmation. Was she really the Caitlin Clark? With a smile, she confirmed it, and the boys erupted with excitement, snapping selfies and chattering in awe. This exchange stirred curiosity among the other diners, who began whispering among themselves. Soon, an elderly woman joined Caitlin, and the two struck up a pleasant conversation while the meal was being prepared. When the spaghetti arrived, Caitlin took a bite, and her eyes lit up. The dish was exceptional. True to her word, she asked Jean what she wanted as a reward. Jean, brushing off the offer, modestly mentioned her deep fryer was on its last legs and joked about how new kitchen appliances would make her life easier. Caitlin took the suggestion to heart. Just as she made the promise to help, the boys from earlier returned, this time with more friends, all buzzing with excitement. One of them, frustrated that no one seemed to recognize Caitlin's greatness, grabbed the TV remote and switched the channel to a recent game. There she was, Caitlin Clark in action, dazzling the crowd. The diner erupted in astonishment, and Jean finally understood who her guest was. Caitlin spent a few more minutes chatting, taking pictures, and signing autographs before her phone buzzed. She had to leave. Before heading out, she handed Jean her card, promising to replace the old appliances and make good on her word. "Keep being kind and hospitable," she said with a smile. Waving goodbye to a diner full of new fans, Caitlin disappeared into the evening, leaving behind a memory that would be cherished forever. Elsewhere, across the Atlantic in the UK, 16-year-old Shannon had her own life-changing encounter. Shannon, who suffered from a chronic illness and arthritis, had been looking forward to her high school prom, a rare moment of joy amid her struggles. Her mother, Claire, had spared no effort to make it special, buying her a stunning white dress of £470. The dress was perfect, and for a brief moment, Shannon's world seemed bright. Claire even captured photos of her daughter wearing it, the image of elegance and excitement. But the happiness was short-lived. Shannon returned home from school one day distraught. She had been bullied relentlessly, both verbally and physically, by classmates. Her confidence shattered. She announced she wouldn't attend the prom. Claire's heart broke for her daughter. She had worked so hard to make this a magical event, only for it to be ruined by cruelty. Determined to lift Shannon's spirits, Claire shared her daughter's story online, hoping to find support. What happened next was beyond anything they could have imagined. A group of 120 bikers, touched by Shannon's story, rallied around her. They showed up at her house in a powerful display of solidarity, escorting her to a special prom event organized just for her.